All right, guys, here we go in what could be Nerchio and Jjakji's last game if Nerchio doesn't pick this up. But first, we're going to take a look at our blue Terran in the lower left from the team NSHS. One game away from winning IPL Fight Club and collecting that bounty. It is NSHS.Jjakji. And up at the top left, one game away from tying things up and staying in this IPL Fight Club best of 9. It is Acer.Nerchio.
All right, so the map is Darkness Falls. This is an enormous map. There's 16 bases. They're all normal mineral patches and just one Xel'Naga tower in the middle, which actually goes out to about this range, so to speak.
Okay.
So you have the better half of this part to squeeze in some units and these ramps along the sides as attack passive can get around the Xel'Naga tower. So
interesting. I like the ramps along the side in this map. It kind of, it's a little bit Xel'Naga Caverns-ish. But it takes that mechanic and puts on a bigger map, because remember, Xel'Naga Caverns kind of has those side areas too, you know, where it's a little bit elevated in some places.
Sure. And, you know, but the ramps are not as dangerous to players as far as, like, being able to siege up, because this is your 4th base, so that would have to happen way later on in the game anyway.
Oh, right.
It's easier than a map, another large map like Terminus, to actually take subsequent bases across, like, you know, Nerchio's here on the left-hand side, so to take bases along the right-hand corridor. So
I like maps like this. Sometimes I feel like maps like Terminus and maybe even Atlantis Spaceship too are a little bit too large.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit too big. Maps like this that are, I would say, larger, medium-sized maps.
Yeah.
These are my favorite kinds of maps.
Yeah, there's enough bases here, and it's large enough that the rotational symmetry doesn't really come into play all that much in this
Not as
well.
much.
So,
yeah.
Okay, well, it looks like Nerchio did decide to expand first once again. Again, we're just, you know, he decided to move into Mutiling, Baneling last time. I think we're just looking for a little bit different late game option out of him, though, instead of Infestors.
No, I wasn't paying attention at all. Did he take his gas first? Did Jjakji take it first? Can you click that gas?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, he actually
okay.
went ahead and
got
took
it
it
normal
second.
time.
So,
yeah. All right.
Yep, barracks first.
Yep, just wanted to make sure.
No problem, no problem. So,
right.
gas following this up for Nerchio as well. This is a pretty good distance in between your main and natural, so you do have to dedicate yourself to a little bit of creep spread there. So,
yep, that is correct. And, wow, that is actually quite a bit of distance between the main and the natural there. Although, did he... Yeah, I guess that is the natural. Oh, interesting. This is a map that I'm not quite as familiar with, actually. I've never played a game on it. I've seen some games on it, but haven't really gotten to sit down and analyze it completely yet. But, yeah, that is a long way between the main and the natural. That's...
Yeah. This
actually take a couple creep tumors.
This map in our map pool, because we largely judge them based on how even they were in the Mapmaker tournament and how close the games were actually played. And Atlantis Spaceship was almost perfect, 50% for each race across the board.
Sure.
So it was 50-50 win rate for everyone. This map, it was the second closest to being perfect win rates. It was slightly Zerg favored, but other than that, yeah, it ends up being a very, very good, evenly matched map.
Okay. Well, it's definitely no Steps of War when it comes to creep distance between the main and the natural. It's a small map, but a long way between your first 2 bases.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should bring that back. We should have like a bad map tournament at some point. And just pick all the worst maps and just have it.
Kulas Ravine.
And then not allow Terran to play.
That's... Oh, man, you don't want to see Lost Temple and... oh, man.
Lost
Delta
Temple,
Quadrant.
Kulas
Boom!
Ravine.
Delta Quadrant. That's the one I was trying to think of.
Jungle Basin.
Oh.
Good old Jungle Basin.
Desert Oasis.
No, that one was never bad. It was just misunderstood.
All right. Let's see here, though.
Agria Valley.
Oh,
never even got in that pool.
Yeah,
was
but the one
ladder for a while.
The one that surprisingly played more times than most maps, just because it's the first one alphabetically in the list, and whenever you queue up a game, that's just you versus no one, just because you want to work out a build or something like that, it ends up coming up first. So
yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
the original version of Crossfire with the wide ramp
going
the main.
Well, I'm feeling a little sick over here. We have a Roach Warren coming up.
Win with 2 racks pressure against Protoss every game on that map.
Oh God! Don't remind me. All right, so we actually have a 3rd command center coming out of Jjakji now. He's built to get inside of his main as well, just relying on his Hellions to take map control on this map. Nerchio, on the other hand, he's 2 base, and there's a Roach Warren, so wants to stay safe, but will hopefully not overcommit to Roaches once again.
Yep, that's right. And Jjakji going for a pretty similar build to what he's been going for. He's got the barracks, he's got the stim, he's got the Hellions coming out, got the expansion on the way.
Yeah.
And actually, that is a fast third expansion for Jjakji.
Yeah,
I
it's
apologize,
inside
I
of his
didn't
space
notice
right
that.
now. Yep.
Yeah, very cool. I like it. So switching things up a little bit here.
Yes, indeed. So the macro command center for a little while can actually work pretty well. Pump out a ton of economy and mules and SUVs and things like that. And he's patrolling back Marines to make sure that no Overlord is going to get in there all pesky-like and pick up on that. Ooh, Jjakji's got to watch out, though.
Yep.
Looks like the Roaches take out one Hellion, and he will have to back
in a heap
away.
of trouble.
And it looks like Nerchio's going to take his third base as well.
Yep. So a little bit of variation here. Jjakji deciding to take a bit of an early risk, kind of sacrifice some of that early pressure in order to get a third base faster.
And it looks like, once again, Nerchio's putting out a lot of Roaches, and his opponent's going over to a pretty heavily bio-focused build, as it's going to be 3 racks with a reactored starport.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. All right. And, wow, that's a pretty... Well, that's not that quick of a layer. My sense of time is all messed up in this game for some reason. That looked like a really fast layer, but actually it's not. It's just maybe a little bit quicker layer, I would say. Nice scouting there by Nerchio.
Yep, definitely.
Seeing the natural, making sure his opponent expands. Gets a good look at the composition of his army, and also gets to kind of count the numbers, too. He should know that there's something else going on aside from the normal build because of the lack of Marines and Marauders in that small group there.
Yeah, definitely. And what is he making in response? More Roaches for the time being. He also has +1 Carapace on the way and his second Evolution Chamber.
Yep.
He is on 4 gas at the moment, as this next hatchery is not finished yet, so he's not going over to 6. But he is going to have a lot of gas saved up, so maybe we'll see that quick infestation pit again.
Yep. That's definitely possible. The layer did just finish, so I'll have to see what it is. Could also be a Spire, too.
Yes,
He's
it
starting
could.
to kind of save up some gas as well.
Definitely.
Getting the upgrades, too, like you said. Okay, there's the infestation pit, so this could be a little bit more in line with the kind of Stefano style or the Damaga style that you see, where it's just a lot of Ling upgrades and Festers, and usually Ultras after that, too.
Right.
So it doesn't look like any sort of wildly different game plan from our Zerg player this time. But with the way that the map is a lot more open, I think this is a better map for that style.
Yeah, I agree with you. The attack paths through the middle are quite wide open. Those Daredevil Hellions just trying to run as close as they can.
Like, look how fast I can drive next to the Roaches.
I bet you can't get closer than me.
Too fast, too furious.
Oh, God. 3 fast, 3 furious. I keep waiting for that one. Anyway.
You know, Tokyo Drift, not that any of those movies are really Oscar-worthy, but Tokyo Drift was easily the best just because it didn't have any of the original characters in it. That's why.
Oh, man. I can just imagine my dad. He's like, oh, yeah, well, Vin Diesel's come back in this one, so it's going to be the best. I'm like, oh, Dad.
You know, I do like Vin Diesel, though, as an actor.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, occasionally.
I respect him.
Yeah.
Like the Riddick movies.
Oh, that's what I was about to say. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was about to say. That's a good example of some Vin Diesel movies.
Thought he was good in Saving Private Ryan.
I was about to say. That's like, no
Boom.
one, everyone's like, what? He's in Saving Private Ryan? I was like, yeah, it's one of his first roles.
It's like
in,
the second
motion
guy that
pictures.
dies in that movie.
Yeah,
Well,
sniped
aside
out.
from the beach scene at the start. Anyway.
Well, there's like 35 million guys that die there. But, no, yeah, he sniped out and just sat there and dies while everyone watches him bleed.
Well, there you go.
Boom, Vin Diesel, go look for him in Saving Private Ryan. Anyway, Panda bunkers are up at the front. We have a secondary
There's a
supply
Panda
depot
bunker,
wall.
isn't it?
Look at this. We have 3.
Oh, that is-
we have
those are
3
the-
supply depot walls.
Those are the cutest little bunkers I've ever seen, man. Those bunkers just become cute and not threatening at all with the pandas.
Yeah, no kidding.
Look at that. Wow, if I was getting
Aw.
bunker rushed by that, I would just be like, oh, you can be there. Let's be friends. Yeah, well, I don't think this is a good place to attack for Nerchio. If he attacks here, that could end up being a bit bad. Yeah, he's just going to turn right around. Well, that's probably going to make him turn around as well.
Yep, he's going to need to cancel that hatchery pretty soon. He'll wait until the last possible second so he can kill some extra units. And there, it looks like the medevac picks up everything else. So 4th base delayed for a little bit. I'm sure he's not happy to see this already functional and mining 3rd base that's up for his opponent. But let's see how quick he wants to continue to expand. Looks like a 5th base and maybe even a 6th. Yeah.
Pretty quick Spire coming up for Nerchio as well. So, well, not quick Spire, but quick Spire and Hive is what I meant to point out. So I think we are going to see some play like we saw in the first couple games, those Broodlords, which I think is going to give him the best chance to win, definitely.
I could not agree with you more.
Yeah.
But, no, I really like what Jakji's doing, though. I want to point out, yeah, he has 3 supply depot walls in there right there. So Ling counterattacks just are going to be so hard for Nerchio to get done. So
yeah, he's got quite the line of defense.
Uh-oh, and it looks like Jakji has picked up on this next base. He's actually dropping inside of the natural, hopefully to occupy Nerchio's attention. Yeah, and it looks like he's going to take out this base on the right-hand side at the same time.
Yep. That's right. So, and here's where I feel like Jakji really shines, is that he's able to put on so much pressure. I don't even think that was canceled.
No.
He's able to put on so much pressure with his marine drops, and when you're going for like this kind of composition with Roach and Fester, you just can't get around the map fast enough. You have to make some lings, and you're like, oh, I don't really want to make as many lings right now.
Right.
And yeah, it just becomes really, really difficult. And that's going to let Jakji tech. It's going to let him expand. It's going to let him basically do whatever he wants for a while.
And Jakji deciding not to pick off any units from the high ground there. That is going to allow this hat trick to finish. He's not dropping in any other places at the same time.
Ugh.
Looks like he did
That
get some
was
units
drop.
cleaned up there. Yeah. Aw, bye-bye, drone.
Yep.
Okay, so let's see here. Another drop queued up on the left-hand side. Pretty passive macro game, though. I mean, these players are playing kind of 15-minute no rush and then just going to sit on maxed armies and just throw waves of units at each other.
Jakji getting a little bit aggressive here.
Greater
moving
Spire.
out on the map. Yep, there's a Greater Spire. It's a lot of tech to do on such short notice here.
Yes,
And
it is.
oh, did the tanks get sieged up in time?
Well, we're going to find out.
Oh, he needs to split. Yeah, watch out for those infestors. Nice control by Jakji. Very nice.
Yeah, but I've got to say, you know, Nerchio did a good job picking off those tanks right up at the front. There is one sitting at the back now. He's got to defend this drop inside of his natural. It looks like he is aware of. Units on the low ground as well, though, will aid in this drop and make sure that a few extra lings are picked off. And so they got to watch out there. Ooh, Queen, watch out there as well.
Wow, Nerchio really doing pretty well in this game. He's got his 5th base up and running now. I mean, he's got a lot of units. He's up on supply. Well, he's catching up on supply with his opponent. And that Greater Spider's getting quite a bit closer to being done.
And
Brood
here come the
Infestors.
infested Terrans. Yep, and there we go. That's what I was waiting for. And looks like a few units are going to go down here. Nice job breaking the siege tanks. However, oh no, a drop inside of Nerchio's natural, and he had those units on hold position, and they're just devastated.
Yeah, it's not helping quite as much. The drones need to make a run for it.
Yeah, definitely.
And Jakji is still being very aggressive here. His supply lead is getting pretty close to insurmountable. These Broodlords are going to have to win the game for Nerchio, and you know what? There's not a lot of anti-air out right now for Jakji other than those Marines.
No, there's really not.
And the Infestors should be able to handle them, so Nerchio may actually be able to come back and win this.
Well, we're going to find out here. There's a couple of infested Terrans on the low ground. That's what I was waiting for. And it looks like the siege tanks are going to get killed as well. Bye-bye. Just a couple sitting at the back now, and we'll see how many more units roll through as here come the Broodlords.
Yep, and there's just not a lot of Marines out right now for Jakji, and he immediately makes a run for it. Yeah, starting to produce Vikings 2 at once, but is it enough? He's also making Ghosts, so he might just be able to do it. You know, Nerchio, I don't know if he wants to really push here. He might do better kind of sitting back and retaking a few bases, but it looks like he just wants to try to end the game right now.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of units making their way out now. He is starting to bank resources. 36 additional links coming out as well with more Corruptors so we can start to defend against this air. But nice job just slowly sieging up this supply depot wall.
Yep.
Gives his links a chance to attack on even ground. And, oh, here come the Marines now.
Oh, look out for the fungal growth.
Oh, the Infestor at the back doesn't have enough energy.
Oh, it doesn't.
And there's no more Infestors up at the front, so a couple of Broodlords have fallen, but the Lings were absorbing most of the damage there, allowing the Broodlords to just continue and siege up this position.
Yep, Jakji is just buying time right now. He needs to try to hold Nerchio at that position as long as he can. Oh, I like this, doing a drop at the same time to still continue to put pressure on. There's so many Corruptors, though. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, there's a Snipes,
good job.
though.
Nice Snipes. Did I see a transfusion there? I don't know if there was a Queen behind this at the same time, but a couple of Burrowed Infestors going to make their way up here in just a second. I don't see any charts or anything. Looks like Nerchio did lose the space over on the right-hand side. There are a few Lings there, and Jakji's got to watch out. He's got those units on move commands. Oh, there's the big Fungal hitting a lot of units in the middle. The Vikings are actually going down pretty quickly. There's only a couple of Corruptors left, and there are so many Broodlords here that they're just starting to cream these units on the ground.
Yeah, I don't know if Jakji can actually win this. There's more Vikings coming out here. Only one Corruptor left. If he focuses down that Corruptor, and
looks like he was going,
gets it, that's going to help. There is a Viking out. 3 Vikings out now to those Broodlords. Jakji might be able to barely hold this, but Nerchio just looking so good right now.
Yeah, and it looks like he cleaned up that drop over at the top as well. And yeah, it was funny because he didn't actually focus down that Corruptor right away.
Yeah.
He was actually sniping a couple of Broodlords. He happened to get it because of what was sitting there on the ground, but it's just not going to be enough. 30 supply advantage. Ladies and gentlemen, we may be going to game number 9 here.
I think it's definitely possible. Nerchio just really playing this well, catching Jjakji off guard with those Broodlords, I think. And once again, the Broodlords winning the day for Nerchio.
Yeah, Broodlords have been so effective for him in this set so far. Looks like these Marines are going to make their way up, actually going after a couple of Corruptors, and just, wow, just getting decimated on the ground.
Yeah, the Broodling Mosh Pit is just too much for the Marines to handle right now. I think it's pretty much over here. I don't think Jjakji has a chance of winning this.
Well, he is on 4 bases for the moment, at least, and not a lot of mining has been stopped over at that 3rd, so maybe he can find some sort of equality there, but he just doesn't have anything on the ground right now. 64 workers, 19 Marines, but apparently they're all just being filtered in slowly but surely.
Yeah, I mean, and even if Jjakji does push this back somehow, Nerchio's got such a great economy going.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the supply lead.
Yeah, he really does. And let's actually take a look at those income rates. So 75 workers out for Nerchio, and he is expanding to further bases. He's taken basically the entire top half of the map, as a matter of fact. These Broodlords have just gotten so many kills between them.
Yeah. Ravager, wow. Broodlord.
Ravager.
You know, the Broodlord count is dwindling, though. Making 3 Vikings at once is kind of eliminating. But yeah, if you look at the supply, it's 100 supply difference for these two players. Jjakji is about ready to GG, I think.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And especially because, so many Vikings.
Well,
there it is.
Wow, and we are going to a game 9.